Cold Beans Challenge, episode 16. Hello. Well, I've just actually recorded this subject, and I wouldn't even say I've recorded it badly, but I'm going to go with that subject because I think it's the most important thing ever as to why things aren't good enough yet. I don't know why. I have a conscious value and everything knows why as well, but we need everyone to know. We need to all to know. We once did. Shit. Okay, so you've heard of temptation. Now, temptation is a force that, when fed, becomes a force that will then go from a beginning point to an end point before control is regained to consider what it was you were going to do or not going to do in disturbance of something else. So in fact, being good is the same thing, because you stay with something long enough that as long as you are with it, then you don't disturb it from beginning to end until you run out of value to achieve this with, because someone has breached us by losing to the consideration of a touch for them or a touch for us. You can only be good for periods within the period since you did it. So therefore, what we're saving up for is a force that only says stuff that creates good universal content. Because Hair Touch is now, 6,000 years old, 37 years, and whatever time past November the 3rd of 2024 is. But when this 37 years and that measure turn into another 6,000 years, she's reached her limit of how much temptative contact can exist in anything, and she will have reflected on that contact the worse she has made backwards to actually feel what she didn't feel as we did, in guilt and shame, and we will then continue to create a whole 6,000 years of contact that is inclusive to everything from one point of the 6,000 years to the end of it. That all then will happen is an infinite rotation of good contact that always makes sure when you haven't had your contact, someone else is on the way, because they're distributing themselves between everyone, which takes all the space to do, because all value is integral in it to be here anyway. It's the same. So it sounds like a slight improvement from Prometheus there. Should I say Prometheus anyway there? Well, that's the limit anyway, that I described of how good something can be before consideration starts making you consider things of her journey just so she can stay with us and we can stay together. But of course, whenever we do it, it'll always be more milder or shorter contact. But there is rates, Some people wouldn't dream of using a weapon outside of the military, or joining the military, we have to do what we can between us, and to share that contact that she makes us do, to all live. Mine is mainly taking it than giving it, in the worse end, and giving it more in the better end. But unfortunately, as the second, some of it's quite isolated, but it is still sending out things that can be translated into better things for anything, anywhere they contact it. Of course, the first 6,000 years says anything in it is gradually worse for me, and then in this one, anything gradually is better for me, because I feel new positive right up until the 6,000 years is finished that nobody else does, because that first moment I lived is something nobody else has. But obviously in between that scale, whether you're doing anything that anybody else is doing, a bit more, you aren't. So that's my story that I'm now revealing, because it's only my story to reveal, being the body of that first moment's development of 12 of us, who all initially had our own moment ourselves by our own will. Does every episode need to be 9 minutes long if we're done? We're done.